Selamat datang, selamat pagi. Welcome and good morning. My name's Tim. Behind the camera is my boss, my wife, my best friend, Warsi.
Oh, thank
And
you.
we are your expats in Indonesia. Today, we're going to do a little discussion about Indonesian healthcare, since I had the pleasure of trying it out. Now, before we talk about Indonesian healthcare, let's talk about where we are right now. We're on our balcony of the hotel, the Hyatt Regency, which is fastly becoming our second home due to the treatment that we receive from the staff here. They make us feel at home. I mean, just so you guys know, I traveled for a living, stayed in a lot of hotels, and none of them ever made me feel at home like this one does. So we'll be back again because we thoroughly enjoy staying here. Okay, so let's talk about Indonesian healthcare. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I had the pleasure of experiencing it while we're here in the city. I've been, over the last several days, suffering from intestinal distress, let's say. Somewhere between 10 to 14 days worth. So we thought, hey, let's see if we can get in to see a doctor. So on Saturday morning, Warsi went online to a local hospital and at 6:30 in the morning and was able to make us an appointment for 10 a.m. that same day. We got to the hospital about 9:15 because we weren't sure where to park, where to go, and all that good stuff. But once we found exactly where we were, or where we needed to be, which just happened to be in the executive lounge part of the hospital, I think one part was walk-in, another part was appointment, and I think the executive lounge part was appointment, but it still made you feel special. Anyways, sat down probably at 10:05. We got called up to the desk where a nurse took, the usual blood pressure and all that good stuff. And then we went and sat back down. And then about 10:15, 10:20, we got called into a room. Now, think about the American healthcare system. You go, you check in, you sit down in the waiting room, they finally call you into a room, and then they turn around and put you in another room and you wait for the doctor. When we got called into the room, the doctor was waiting for us. Totally changed my mood and attitude about going to the doctor a little bit. The other thing that was awesome was our doctor, my doctor, spoke English, understood all my symptoms that I was explaining, and did a physical exam.
Shout out to Dr. Linda.
Dr. Linda, shout out. Thank you. So she did a physical exam, found my large intestines is swollen, which, kind of figured as much. Basically, I'm a bule with bali belly is what they call it over here. So after the physical exam, we wanted to get a sample to run some cultures on it to see if it was bacterial, fungal, whatever. So we tried to do that for a few hours and that didn't work out very well. So we went back to her to let her know that we're gonna have to leave and bring a sample back at a later time. Unfortunately, she got called upstairs to check on a patient, so we sat outside her room and waited, and the nurse told us this. And waited, and then the nurse came back and said that unfortunately she got called into an emergency surgery. Now remember, the doctor that was checking me out for a little bit of intestinal distress is a surgeon working normally down on appointments for PCP stuff that we do in America. So what the nurse offered was to take us up to the ER, and one of the doctors in the ER would prescribe the medicines that we needed. So we said, sure, let's go up to the ER. So we went up to the ER, and a couple minutes being up there, a nice doctor came in. Shout out to Dr. Kevin, I believe was his name. Dr. Kevin, another great English speaker. Gotta love it when they can speak English, man. It's just awesome. So he, did his exam just to make sure of what Dr. Linda had found and prescribed me 5 medicines. So we went down to the cashier to get our medicines and pay our bill and all that good stuff. And while waiting, my body decided we can give a sample while we're there. So we did that part too while we were there. Paid our bill and left. Later on that day, or probably at night, because I was sleeping, we got a notification the test results were in, and it was determined that I did have a fungal infection, and they wanted us to get a different prescription, or another prescription I should say, which took me from 5 to 6 prescriptions. So we went back to the hospital, paid our bill, which was for the lab work and the additional prescription, and then came back to the hotel and started me on all my meds. And all the meds are only a 3-day course. Most of them are 3 times a day. No big deal. And it's already starting. I can already start to feel a little bit better. So that's blessings already. Because we're driving back home today, so that's a good thing to be stuck in the car for 6 hours and not have to worry about this. But bottom line to this, not bottom line of the story, but the end of the story is everything we had done, 6 medications, 3 days worth of those medications, the physical exam, being in the ER, the lab tests, and the culture and everything was less than $67. Now we have good insurance, international health insurance through Cigna, so I'll submit that to them. If they don't want to cover it, we'll figure out a way to pay for it. I think we can handle $67 for everything that we had done.
Yeah.
The point being here is we spent 5 hours rectifying the situation in a hospital, saw a doctor that was actually a surgeon, then was put in the ER, and it cost under $67. Amazing. The U.S. has a long ways to go when it comes to healthcare, and I know y'all are going to agree with me anyways. So with that, I'll end this video. Thank you so much for watching, and everybody be safe out there.